Alright everybody, and welcome to Safe Gun Fun Guns. My name is Jason, and this will be the first episode, episode 3, where I'm actually doing it live and not just a slideshow presentation. Today we're going to be going over the various parts of a handgun, because again this channel is geared for individuals who are new to guns and unfamiliar with them. So, it just seems logical that you would want to go ahead and understand what each part of the gun and kind of the basic function of the gun. We'll also be going over the ammunition and rounds and those various parts as well. So today I have two types of guns here, as you can see. I have the Desert Eagle 1911. That is a pretty popular model. The 1911 in general is probably one of the oldest designs that are still being made today. It was obviously made in 1911, so it's a design that's over 100 years old. And then we have this little simple Heritage 22, and that way you can see the parts of both the revolver and the semi-automatic. So we're going to start out just simply by looking at the 1911. As you can see, it has your slides here and your grips, but we're going to start here and kind of work our way around and end up back at the muzzle. So this very tip here, this business end where the round actually ejects from, and I'll turn it this way. This is what you know as the muzzle. It's the business end, basically, of the gun. When you look up here, this little raised tip here, as you can see, that is going to be your sights. And for semi-automatic, you actually have a front sight and a back sight. So this one does, you'll see the slight difference of that on the revolver. And then as you move around, this little piece here, this is a skeleton version, but this is your hammer. Ultimately, this is what hits the pin in here that causes it to hit the primer in your ammo and causes the gun to fire. So you move down, and on the 1911 model, you have a safety here, and you also have this beaver tail safety. And so these two are safeties, and this is your grip. Most guns you can customize your grip by changing them out. So I can remove this and put a different form of grip on there, a different design grip or color, whatever the case is. And then at the bottom, this is where your magazine loads into, and your magazine release button is here. And then we're going to move over to the trigger. We have your trigger here, and then your trigger guard. You will see that this little button here that you probably was wondering a little bit when I was talking about the safety, this is your slide stop. So when you rack it back, this whole slide here is locked back, showing you the barrel and then the guide rod. Now if you was wanting to break this gun down, you'll see two notches here. This notch was for your slide lock to lock back the slide, and this little indenture here is a takedown indenture, which we'll show you in further episodes, but for now just know that that is your takedown notch. Again, this particular weapon we'll actually go through and clean here. I believe it's going to be the next episode that I film. We're going to actually clean this handgun that I have in my hand there. So that is your basic parts of a semi-automatic. Again, you have your trigger guard, your slide lock, muzzle, front sight, back sight, hammer, and grips, and then your safeties. Alright, now you're going to find This one's slightly different. It also has an extra part or so. You'll still have your grip here, and then your hammer here, and the safety's actually on this little piece here. Safeties vary where they're located at, and then there's actually some handguns that don't have a safety, but they have a really long trigger pull. As you move up, as you can see, there's sort of an indenture here that acts as a rear sight, even though you don't see that raised in, but you do see the raised in on your front sight. For a revolver, it's pretty much just a sight. It's not identified as front or back because there's really no back. And then you still have your muzzle, which would be this tip part, the business end. And you have your trigger guard and trigger. Now you'll find that this has a slightly different pieces added to it, because we have the cylinder, which is what act as the magazine for a revolver. It holds your rounds, and if you was to flip this up, you would slide your rounds inside that little section there. So each one of those holes will light up. You slide it out. When the round has been fired, there is actually an ejection rod right here. This pushes the dead round out, or the casing out, as you'll learn here in just a second when we go over the ammo and the parts of the round. Okay. So this is the difference is we have a cylinder instead of a magazine, and then we have the ejection rod. And that's really basically the only difference between the revolver and the semi-automatic. Alright, so now we're going to move in, and there's couple of different types of rounds, but there's two basic categories of rounds. I'll slide these over here just so we can see a little better. So a round entails the whole piece. Unfired, this is a round. Looking at the bottom, you'll see two circles. I'll move that up a little bit so you can see. You have two circles. That middle circle actually holds a primer, which ignites the gunpowder that's inside the casing. Casing's this outside shell here. And that gunpowder goes off and pressure builds up, and it actually shoots the bullet, which is this little top piece. As you can see a small line in between there. This here would be a target round, also known as a full metal jacket, and this is cheap round. Pretty much people will buy this for target shooting, not so much home defense or personal defense. The big difference is this is a defensive round, and you can see the tops here. This middle is hollowed out, also known as a hollow point. And what this allows for is as it hits your target, it will expand and cause a larger entry wound, and it will actually do some ripping as it runs through. It is more effective of stopping the threat, because when you're defending yourself and defending your house, that's what you ultimately want to do. You want to stop the threat. You'll find the same same parts of the ammo on the defensive round, the primer and the casing, and then of course if we open this up, you'll see the gunpowder. I have one round that has been fired. And this one here, this is a large casing, so this is just a casing. The primer's already blown. Obviously the round's no longer in there, or the ammo's no longer in there, so the gunpowder's no longer in there. Alright, and we're going to talk about, this is a magazine. This is the magazine for the Desert Eagle that I was showing you the parts of the semi-automatic. See how thin this is? This is known as a single stack magazine. If it's thicker, which would be about double this, it'd be called a double stack, because you have ammo that literally just double stacks on one another. So there's a set of ammo in here. There'd be another set like this if it was double stacked. This one holds 10 rounds. My double stack 40 holds 16 rounds. So that kind of gives you an idea of what it does. It has a larger capacity. Held. So that is your simple layout of the parts of a gun. And we look forward to seeing you all in the future when we take apart guns and show you how to clean guns. Also, I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to look at the first 2 episodes. Now, they do move kind of fast sometimes. Parts of them. There are basic slideshows that go over the basic gun safety and the most common range rules out there. Keep in mind, range rules do change a little depending on the range that you go to. But I did actually attach a link to episode 2, the one that we talk about the range rules, to one of the local ranges around here that's known as Shoot Smart. And you'll see a couple things added that I didn't put into the video, because again, not all ranges have the exact rules, but I did show that link so you have time that you can look through it. It's always suggested that you understand the rules of whatever range you choose to go shoot at. So again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and please subscribe below, like it, and leave your comments. And we look forward to seeing you in episode 4. Remember, a safe gun is a fun gun. So, this is Jason saying good night, and wish you the safest, funnest guns possible. So go out and make some noise. Thank you.